What's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode. Today, I want to go ahead and wish you guys a very, very Merry Christmas. But then I also want to go ahead and get into the meaning and representation of Christmas as well. For those of us that already know, Christmas is about the death, the birth, the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Some people don't recognize it as that. Some people just see it as, you know, this fat old guy with a long beard breaking into your house, leaving presents underneath your Christmas tree. And don't get me wrong, I like Santa too. But that's what Christmas is really about. Those are my beliefs. That's what I hold true in my own life. And you can celebrate Christmas in any way, shape, or form that you want to. But that's the beauty of living in this country, is that you can either celebrate it or not celebrate it. Now, I've talked about this yesterday. Holidays and birthdays, including my own, are really, you know, I don't really celebrate them. You know, I mean, unless it's a, you know, it's a really fun party with a bunch of cool people that I really like, that I'll really get along with. I don't really celebrate holidays or birthdays. It's just not my thing. But I do acknowledge Christmas as being about some of the things that I just mentioned. But I want to go ahead and get into what's been bothering me a lot lately. And I've talked about this before, but lately more and more people have been saying Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas more often than they used to. I know it probably shouldn't bother me, but it does. And it bothers me for the reason that there's some people, and look, I'm not saying that saying Happy Holidays is a bad thing. It depends on who it's coming from. It depends on who's saying it. You know, the tone of their voice. But then there's people that say it because they have some kind of a chip on their shoulder about Christmas. And there's a couple of contributing factors that come to mind for me. And one is that there's people out there that you know, maybe grew up in households where their parents were religious zealots. Their dad was a straight up Bible thumper and would only let them go to church with them on a Sunday and not do anything else on Sunday. You couldn't watch TV, couldn't play outside with your friends. So I guess you're just bored until Monday morning, right? So that's one aspect of it. And then the other thing is, there's people out there that never got to celebrate a normal Christmas. You know, there's people that grew up in super abusive households, or maybe they grew up in a low-income household where their parents couldn't buy them any gifts for Christmas or their birthday. Maybe they bounced around from foster home to foster home. Maybe they got adopted by parents that couldn't give two shits about them. So that's why people don't really recognize Christmas as being the birth of Jesus for that reason. And look, I totally get it. I totally empathize with people like that, because I can't really say that I've had a normal Christmas at any point in my life either. So I totally get where they're coming from when they just say Happy Holidays. But the other thing that I want to go ahead and just bring to your guys' attention is the fact that whether you celebrate or not celebrate Christmas, you still have the freedom in this country to do so. You have the freedom to celebrate Thanksgiving or not celebrate Thanksgiving. You have the freedom to celebrate the New Year's or not celebrate it. You have the freedom to celebrate the 4th of July or not celebrate it. And you have the freedom to talk as much shit about those holidays as you want to. And you have the freedom to talk shit about these politicians, you know, these Democrats, these Republicans. You have every right imaginable in this country to make a full-length episode critiquing President Biden or President Trump or President Obama. But try doing that in other countries like China, Ukraine, Iran, North Korea, and see what happens to you. the likely outcome is probably not going to be a good one. You will either go to prison, or you will get killed, or you will get dismembered. You know, try being a woman in some of these Middle Eastern countries where, you know, I mean, women are still complaining about women's rights here. Okay, but what about these other countries where if they even take their burqa off outside in the middle of 110-degree weather because they're sweating underneath there, they will get killed, and they will get killed right on the spot in front of their family, in front of their friends, in front of their kids. That's what happens to these women in these countries. Women, people of different colors and ethnicities, people of different religions. They just this is paradise for everybody as far as I'm concerned. You know, and even if you're in Canada, try and make a full-length episode about how much you hate Justin Trudeau and see what happens to you. Because the First Amendment doesn't exist up there. Your freedom of speech is very limited up there. And if you say anything even remotely negative about Prime Minister Trudeau, guess what happens to you? I think you guys know where I'm getting at here. But anyway, I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant, and I make this episode not to try and antagonize anybody or try to single anybody out, but just to remind you guys that we have it so good here, and we're so free here. And guess what? That can change at any moment. Just because we have the Constitution, it doesn't mean that. I mean, I think it was President Obama that said it himself back in 2008, I believe, when he was running, that the Constitution is a very flawed document. So what does that mean? Well, it means that some of these politicians, whether Democrat or Republican, do not give a fuck about the very declaration that validates our freedoms here. You know, our freedom of speech, our freedom to own a firearm or to carry a firearm, or to own an AR-15. This could all go away in a blink of an eye. But we've gotten so comfortable and we've gotten so complacent here that now we're at a point where we have to manufacture problems. There's no such thing as being happy 24/7. There's no such thing as having a quote-unquote perfect life 24/7. That's not reality. That doesn't exist. And if you do live a life like that, well, then guess what? You're gonna look for problems wherever they are. That's just human nature. And so we have to manufacture all these problems, like, you know, the systemic racism and women barely having any rights here, you know, and the minimum wage needs to be increased, and we need to be a socialist country. When at any point in world history has socialism worked? There's never going to be a different version of socialism that will ever work. I mean, it will work, but it won't work in the ways that you want it to work. So socialism has killed more people in human history than any genocide, any war, any famine, any discrepancy. It's not an option for us as a country. I'm sorry. I know that some of you guys want healthcare for easily accessible and affordable for all people. I totally get that. I want that too. I know that some of you guys want more peace. You want more unity. Guess what? I want that too. But we have to be realistic about it. And socialism is just not a realistic approach to getting what we want here. So anyway, nothing to do with Christmas, but I just wanted to go ahead and extend beyond that and get into that a little bit because it's important. But again, celebrate Christmas or not celebrate Christmas, I want you guys to at least consider what I just said here, because again, it can go away at any time. With the snap of the finger, they can just say, hey, you know what? The Constitution doesn't apply to this country anymore, and you're going to do what we say. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Merry Christmas. If you enjoyed these episodes that I keep putting out, make sure that you subscribe to me on YouTube at Collectively Fearless. Follow me on Instagram. It's Maddie_Ice. And then share this with your friends and your family if you think that they need to hear this too. And then, as always, I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you again next time.